So in this video today we'll learn one of the important theorem that we have in network theory, maximum power transfer theorem. See, normally network theorems what we learn, all these theorems like in we learn Thevenin's theorem, Norton's theorem, and also these theorems are literally used to minimize the complexity that we face in the complicated linear bilateral networks. If there are more number of voltage sources, current sources, or many components, passive components, if it is connected in a network, it becomes very difficult to solve it using mesh analysis or node voltage analysis and so on. So for that reason, we do have network theorems which overcomes the drawback that we find in mesh analysis or node voltage analysis when we have a complicated networks. Okay, so today we'll learn maximum power transfer theorem in this video, and we'll solve some of the problems. Hello students, let us learn today the maximum power transfer theorem. So in a electrical network analysis, the maximum power transfer theorem defines or states as follows: in any linear bilateral network, however complicated may be, the maximum power is transferred from source to destination, or from source to the load, from source to the load when, so here the maximum power should be transferred from source to load. That is what we do here. When, so there are three cases here. One is when the load resistance is equal to the source resistance. Second one is when the load resistance is equal to the magnitude of the source impedance. And the third condition is when the load impedance is complex conjugate of the source impedance. Now the maximum power is transferred in terms of the first case. That condition will be obtained when both load and source are purely resistive. Okay, when both source and load are purely resistive. Okay. Now the second condition will be obtained when the load is purely resistive, whereas source is an impedance. Source will have some impedance. Now the third case is obtained where the maximum power will be transferred when the load and source both will have some impedance. Okay, both will have some impedance. Now let us go with deriving the condition based on these three cases. So let us go with deriving the condition now. Okay, so let us go with deriving the case for the first condition. So first condition says when both load and source are purely resistive, Okay, this is the first case. It means, let us write the diagram for this case. It says when both load and source are purely resistive, so therefore the source is also purely resistive, the load is also purely resistive, where they both will be connected with an excitation that is nothing but the voltage source. And now this is the source RS. Now this is the voltage source which we have E0. And then this will be a variable resistance normally, which will be RL. I'll give you the justification on why the variable resistance RL is variable, why RL should be varied. Okay, I will give you the justification at the end of this derivation. So here IL is what we need to write the first. So we need to see how the power transferred is maximum. So we need to find out the condition when the power is transferred maximum power is transferred. So for that, first we need to go with current equation, then we'll go with power equation. Okay, so here current IL would be equal to the total voltage E0 divided by the total resistance RS plus RL. So as we have a loop here, single loop, so we have E0 divided by RS plus RL. So that is IL. Now we know that power P would be equal to what? Power P would be equal to IL square into RL. IL square into RL, right? So therefore I can say P equals E0 square divided by RS plus RL the whole square multiplied by RL. So this is P. Now we need to know what is the condition for maximum power to get transferred. So therefore, what we do is we try to differentiate. So we use final value theorem in the mathematics. We normally use final value theorem or the maximum value theorem, anything you can say. So maximum value theorem says differentiation of power in terms of RL equals 0. Now what does this mean here is you differentiate the variable for which you are finding out the maximum in terms of the variable which you are varying to make that particular variable to become maximum. So here I vary RL such that I get power to be maximum. Okay, I vary RL such that the power will become maximum. Now I vary RL till what condition? We'll see at the end. The condition when we obtain, when we finish this derivation, I'll tell you. So here dp by drl equals 0. When you differentiate p in terms of RL and you equate to 0, what do we get here? So we get, it is d by drl of E naught square RL divided by RS plus RL the whole square. Therefore, that is equal to 0. Therefore, E naught square is constant, which I take it outside because I am differentiating in terms of RL. So this RL divided by RS plus RL will remain in the expression whole square, and this would be equal to 0. Now, in mathematics, we do have differentiation of u by v, where d by dt of u by v is given as v into d by dt of u minus u into d by dt of v divided by v square. So this is the formula we use here now. So therefore, E naught square multiplied by RS plus RL the whole square into differentiation of RL in terms of RL, that is equal to 1, minus RL into differentiation of this RS plus RL the whole square will give you 2 times RS plus RL. And this whole thing will be divided by RS plus RL the whole square, which is whole to the power of 4, and this will be equal to 0. Now when I multiply this with 0, then the denominator will get vanished because it multiplies and with 0 and it becomes 0. Therefore, E naught square multiplied with RS plus RL the whole square minus E naught square into RL into 2 times RS plus 2 times RL equals 0. So I am just multiplying this E naught square to these two terms. So what do I get? E naught square into, I will just expand this, RS square plus RL square plus 2 times RS RL, which is equal to, this minus goes to this, so it becomes plus E naught square into 2 times RS RL plus 2 times RL square. Okay, so this is what you get. Now again here E naught square gets cancelled. So therefore, the next step what we get here is, we will be getting RS square plus RL square plus 2 times RS RL equals 2 times RS RL plus 2 times RL square. Again, this 2 times RS RL, 2 times RS RL, they both get cancelled. So therefore, at the end we are left out with RS square plus RL square equals 2 times RL square. So RS square equals 2 times RL square minus RL square. Therefore, RS square equals RL square. Therefore, RS equals RL. Now this is the condition for the power, the maximum power get transferred from the load, delivered by the load. Now how is that is, I told you why the RL should be varied. So here the condition was what? RS equals RL is the condition for maximum power to get transferred. Therefore, you vary RL until it becomes equal to RS. So you will find out RS and E naught by having Thevenin's theorem. We use Thevenin's theorem to find out RS and E naught. We will see that later while solving the problems. But here the maximum power will be transferred from the circuit when RL becomes equal to RS. So you vary RL till RL becomes equal to RS. So once the load resistance becomes equal to the source resistance, then you are going to stop there, because in that case we get maximum power transfer. Okay. So now if RS equals RL, what would be the power which is maximum power which is getting transferred here is, so in this equation I equate RS and RL, so I get E naught square divided by 2 times RL the whole square. So I will replace RS with RL, I get 2 times RL the whole square into RL, so which is equal to E naught square by 4 times RL square into RL. So RL gets cancelled, therefore P max will be equal to, the maximum power P max would be equal to E naught square divided by 4 times RL. So this is the equation for maximum power to get which is getting transferred. This is the first case in maximum power transfer theorem. Fine. Now we'll go to the second case. We'll go to the next case when load is purely resistive. When load is purely resistive, where source has an impedance. Source has an impedance. Where source has an impedance. Okay, so this is the second condition what we need to derive now. So for that, first we need to write the diagram. So the diagram will have what? When the load is purely resistive and source has some impedance, so I will represent source here, and I will represent load which is purely resistive, and this is my E naught. So this is E naught, whereas this is source impedance. I will say RS plus J into XS, and this is my load impedance, load resistance RL. Okay. Now again we need to write an equation for IL. So we will do that now. So IL would be equal to total voltage E naught divided by RS plus RL plus J into XS. So source resistance and source reactance, whatever we have, because it is an impedance. Impedance will always be a summation of resistance plus J into reactance. See, the real part will always be resistance, whereas imaginary part will always be a reactance. So therefore, if I go with power, before getting into the power, I need to see that this denominator will be considered in terms of magnitude. Why? Because as J term is there, power should always be some constant value. So J will make angle to come, where angle should not be mentioned in the power value. Okay, therefore I'll say magnitude of that is nothing but, now think that this is A and this is B. A plus JB term will always say the magnitude is root of A square plus B square. Therefore this will be RS plus RL the whole square plus XS square plus XS square. Therefore P would be equal to IL square into RL again. Therefore that would be equal to E naught square by, so square root will get cancelled if you square it, so it is RS plus RL the whole square plus XS square into RL. So now, as usual in the previous derivation we did, in the same way we differentiate P in terms of RL, because even now RL is varied to make power to be maximum, and the condition for variation of RL equate what will derive it at the end. Earlier we equated RL to be equal to RS, so you varied RL, equated that to source resistance, and we got power to be maximum. Here now again you are varying RL, and you are equating to a term which we are going to derive now. We get that condition now. Okay, so you equate that to 0. So therefore, dp by drl is equal to 0. So dp by drl equals 0. Therefore, we are going to differentiate P now in terms of RL. So it is d by drl of E naught square RL divided by RS plus RL the whole square plus XS square, which is equal to 0. Now differentiate this. E naught square will be the constant which comes outside, and this is d by drl of RL divided by RS plus RL the whole square plus XS square equals 0. Therefore, this would be E naught square into, again, u by v term. So v into v means it is the denominator plus XS square, and that is into 1, because differentiation of RL in terms of RL equals 1, minus RL into 2 times RS plus RL plus 0. Okay, so this is not required. Okay, and divided by RS plus RL whole square plus XS square the whole square equals 0. Now again, this denominator term gets multiplied with this 0. So what will get? I'll finally get E naught square into, I'll expand this, so I'll get RS square plus RL square plus 2 RS RL plus XS square. Okay, this minus E naught square into 2 RL RS plus 2 RL square equals 0. So now, so instead of equating to 0, I'll just equals, because if it goes to the left hand side, right hand side, that becomes equals. So this becomes equals. Now what I'll do, E naught square gets cancelled. So finally I will have RS square plus RL square plus 2 times RS plus RS RL plus XS square, 2 times RS RL plus 2 RL square. Now again, you see 2 times RS RL, 2 times RS RL will get cancelled. So therefore, RS square plus XS square equals this RL square, 2 RL square minus RL square. So therefore, RL square would be equal to RS square plus XS square. Therefore, RL would be equal to square root of RS square plus XS square. Now what is this exactly? If you go back and see, the diagram, see you have ZS to be equal to RS plus J into XS, whereas if you take the magnitude of this, we know the magnitude A plus JB term, A square, root of A square plus B square, whatever I have written it. So therefore this becomes root of RS square plus XS square, that is the magnitude. So therefore, if you go to the derivation at the end, what we have got, then the load resistance will be equal to magnitude of the source impedance. So this is the proof for the definition which we have seen earlier. So load resistance would be equal to magnitude of source impedance. It means, go back and see here, the power will be maximum. The maximum power will be transferred when the load resistance, okay, when the load resistance is varied until it becomes equal to the magnitude of the source impedance. Okay, until it becomes equal to the magnitude of the source impedance. Till that you vary load resistance, and then finally you will say that the power, maximum power is been transferred. Okay, you are going to stop the variation of RL until it becomes when it becomes equal to the magnitude of the source impedance. Fine. So I hope this discussion is clear to you. Now, the next step is, so here the maximum power you always calculate by using this formula, IL square into RL. You need not to substitute magnitude here for in the place of RL and find out. So you can easily find out IL by this equation, and then finally you find out power P max would be equal to IL square into RL. Okay, so the same equation you have used. Now coming to the third condition. So in third condition, both load and source has some impedance. So let us write the diagram for this now. Source also has impedance, load also has impedance. So we got this. So here it is plus minus E naught. So we have Zs, which is equal to Rs plus J into Xs. So this is load ZL, which is equal to RL plus J into XL. Okay. So now we need to derive the equation condition for the power maximum. So therefore again we'll take current IL. So here IL would be equal to what? IL would be equal to total voltage E naught divided by summation of these two impedances. Therefore it is Rs plus RL plus J into XL or XS plus XL. Okay. So therefore power P, now here IL you will take magnitude of this. So magnitude would be root of Rs plus RL the whole square plus XS plus XL the whole square. So therefore P would be equal to again IL square into RL. So therefore P would be equal to what? That would be equal to E naught square divided by, so square root will get cancelled when you square it. So RL plus RL the whole square plus XS plus XL the whole square into RL. So here you need not to differentiate it. By looking into the previous two derivations, we can easily say, so here it gives you two conditions. One condition is the power maximum or the maximum power is transferred. Maximum power is transferred when the load reactance XL would be equal to minus of the source reactance. That would be the first condition. Why? Because if you see this in this power equation, if XS equals minus XL, they both get cancelled, this term becomes 0. Okay, so therefore what we are left out with, P equals E naught square divided by Rs plus RL the whole square into RL. Now this equation what you see this equation what you see, this entire equation what you see is the same equation what we got in the first condition or the first derivation which we did in this video. So therefore again the second condition here would be the maximum power is transferred when RS equals RL, when the source resistance equals load resistance. Okay, so therefore these are the two conditions which we have in third derivation, where XL equals minus XS, RS equals RL. So therefore, if with this condition we can say power maximum P max can be easily obtained by E naught square divided by, see, when RS equals RL, you get 2 times RL the whole square into RL. So therefore you get E naught square by 4 times RL. So this is the P max. Okay. Now with this 1 and 2, let me consider this 1 and 2. With this 1 and 2, I can easily write one more expression here for this condition. I can easily write one more expression. What is that expression is? RL plus J into XL would be equal to RS minus J into XS. See? Why? Because we always equate the real part and we always equate the imaginary part. So when we equate the real part, then it becomes RL equals RS. When we equate the imaginary part, I get XL equals minus XS. So I will get these two conditions with this particular expression which I have written. So therefore, if I see what is RL plus J into XL, this is nothing but the load impedance ZL. Whereas this RS minus J into XS, load source impedance is RS plus J into XS, but I have RS minus J into XS. This is nothing but the complex conjugate of the source impedance. Always when you have a term A plus JB is a real plus imaginary complex number, the complex conjugate of this complex number would be A minus JB. So here RS plus J into XS is the complex, is the source impedance. Therefore RS minus J into XS is nothing but the complex conjugate of the source impedance. So this is the third condition that we have arrived. Okay, so this is the third derivation, where when you have both source and load are having some impedance, then the condition for maximum power to be transferred is source, the load impedance would be equal to complex conjugate of the source impedance. Now if you go back to the statement with these three derivations what we have done, if you see the statement once again, see here in the statement it says, in any linear bilateral network, the maximum power is transferred from source to load when the load resistance is equal to the load source resistance. That is what RS plus RL which we have derived. RS equals RL. And in the next second condition, the load resistance is equal to the magnitude of the source impedance. That is what we have derived. RL equals magnitude of source impedance. Then the load impedance is the complex conjugate of the source impedance. So that is what we have derived. ZL equals ZS star, which is equal to, here the RL equals magnitude of ZS is what? Sorry. This is nothing but root of RS square plus XS square. This is nothing but RS minus J into XS. That is what complex conjugate. So star means complex conjugate. Star says it is complex conjugate. Okay, I hope all the three derivations of the maximum power transfer theorem is clear to you. So in my next video, you will see problems on maximum power transfer theorem. This problem using maximum power transfer theorem to find the maximum power received by 12 ohm resistance. So this is the 12 ohm resistance, which is normally a load resistance only. So you need to find out the maximum power received by this 12 ohm resistance. Okay, to solve this problem, the first thing what we need to know is the steps involved in solving the problem. So let me explain you the steps here. The first step is you will apply, so we need to apply Thevenin's theorem. We need to apply Thevenin's theorem we need to apply the Thevenin's theorem to find the Thevenin's equivalent circuit. Thevenin's equivalent circuit After finding the Thevenin's equivalent circuit, so to find the Thevenin's equivalent circuit, so Thevenin's equivalent circuit will always have one resistance connected in series with the load resistance, and this is source resistance, and this is E Thevenin, and this is our source resistance, nothing but R Thevenin. Okay, so that is what step 1. This is step 1. Now coming to step 2, after getting the Thevenin's equivalent circuit, you find out the current through RL. So find the current through RL and find the P max, maximum power, by using the formula EL square into RL or E naught square by 4 times RL. All that term we can try to use. Now look into this problem. So these are the two steps which we use to find out the maximum power received by 12 ohm resistance in this particular problem. So to find out the Thevenin's equivalent circuit, the first thing what we need to do is we need to write the Thevenin's equivalent circuit for finding out VTH. So to find VTH, what we do is we remove RL and we find out what is voltage across that open circuit, right? Voltage across that particular open circuit. So what we do is we write the circuit first. So we write the circuit by removing the load resistance and measuring the VTH across that open circuit which is created across the load. So here the load is removed. So this is 15 amps, 4 ohms, 2 ohms, 30 volts, 45 amps. Then we have 180 volts, 24 ohms, and this is 6 ohms. Okay, now let us see how to find out VTH across this open circuit. Okay, we need to find out what is VTH across this open circuit. Fine. So what is the technique we can use here is the mesh current analysis. So we have three. Okay, before that we can convert this combination of parallel what we have. This 15 ohm in parallel with 4 ohms can be converted into a series network now. So therefore I get what? I get a voltage source here, I get resistance, then I get this, then I have voltage source here, we have a current source in between that, we have a resistance here, and then I have VTH plus minus VTH. So therefore this is minus plus 30 volts. This becomes plus minus. So 15 into 4, 60 volts is the voltage value and 4 ohms. This is 2 ohms. This is 6 ohms. This is minus plus 180 volts. This is 45 amps. And then we have 24 ohms. Okay, so this is the circuit. Now further what we can do here is we can again see this complete thing is in series. We can convert this into a voltage source in series with the resistance. So this is what I get. So this is 24 ohms, and then I will have a current source in parallel to this. Then I have 6 ohms connected here. So I'll have a voltage source here and this one. So now VTH would be here. I hope you got it. See, a current source is connected here within the series combination of this. I'm just going to have the series 4 plus 2 is 6 ohms here, and this current source will be 45 amps, and this is 24 ohms, 180 volts, 6 ohms, and this is plus minus VTH. And this voltage source would be, see here, it is minus minus, so both will get added up. If you take current in this direction, they both gets added up. So 60 plus 30, which is 90 volts. Again, I will convert this series into parallel so that I can play with that current source. So what will I get? I get 6 ohms, and then I have voltage source. Sorry, I get a current source. So here we have a voltage source in series with the resistance that becomes a current source in parallel with the resistance. So 6 by 90 by 6 is 15. Okay, so therefore you get 15 amps is the current source, and this 6 ohms will remain as it is, and this is 45 amps, right? This in turn connected with the resistance, and then this resistance, and then we have this resistance. Now across this is what we have, VTH 24 ohms minus plus 180 volts, 6 ohms. Now again the next circuit would be, these two current source can be subtracted because they both are parallel and opposite direction. So I get one current source, one resistance, and this in turn connected to this 6 ohms, and between that you have 24 ohms and a voltage source connected, and across this is what VTH we are going to find out. So plus minus VTH. So this would be flowing upwards because 45 is greater than 15, so 45 direction will be current source direction here. 45 minus 15, which is 30 amps, and this 6 ohms remain as it is, this 6 ohms, this is 180 volts, and this is 24 ohms. Now again, these both are in parallel, can be converted into a series network, where I get in this way 6 ohms, I have 24 ohms connected to a voltage source, then VTH should be found here. So I into R, 180 volts is this, 6 ohms, 24 ohms, 180 volts here, and 6 ohms, and here plus minus VTH. Okay, now the next job is, I need to apply KVL and find out what is current I. So I will get plus 180 minus 6I minus 6I minus 180 minus 24I minus 24I equals 0. Okay, therefore you see there 180 gets cancelled here, 180 and this 180 gets cancelled here. So therefore you will get minus 24 minus 6 minus 12. So minus 12i minus 24i. 36i equals 0. Therefore, you can easily say that I equals 0 here, right? Current equals 0 amps. Now, what I'll do next step is I'll try to write the equation for this loop by considering VTH. So, what will I get? Plus VTH. Say I'm considering this VTH and writing a KVL for this loop. Plus VTH. I is flowing in this direction. I am taking in this direction. So, it becomes plus 24i. Plus 24i and plus 180. I hope it is not plus 180, sorry, because again the current direction is different compared to I, so this becomes minus 180 minus 180 equals 0. Now as we know I equals 0, this term will become 0. Therefore, VTH would be equal to 180 volts. VTH would be equal to 180 volts. Okay. So therefore, I got VTH. Now my next job is to find out what is RTH for the same circuit. So go back to the same circuit here, and then we'll find out what is RTH. Now we know in Thevenin's theorem, to find out RTH, we open all the current sources and we short all the voltage sources. So therefore the circuit would look like so this is where RTH that you look into and find out what is RTH. So here, let me tell you, 2 ohms. So this is short because there was a voltage source, so this is short. Then we have 4 ohms, 6 ohms. So this is again short. We have 180 volts which is short, 24 ohms. Then we have a current source here which should be open, whereas we have another current source here which should be open. Therefore, these are the two terminals where current source were there, which is made open, whereas voltage source are been shorted. Okay, therefore, if this diagram, if you see properly, I will get 4 ohms and then 2 ohms and then 6 ohms, and I am taking the RTH across this 2 ohm, 4 ohm, 6 ohm, and this is 24 ohm. So you can see this all three are in series, and that in turn will be parallel with 24. So therefore, what do we get when all three are in series? So I have 24 here, and that is in turn, and I am trying to find out RTH here. So therefore this is 24 ohms and this is 4, 5, 6 plus 6 is 12. Therefore RTH would be equal to 12 into 24 divided by 12 plus 24. So I suppose the answer for RTH that you get is 8 ohms. If you multiply and divide with 12 plus 24, you get 8 ohms. So therefore, in this problem, see that by using Thevenin's theorem, we got VTH to be equal to 180 volts, whereas RTH to be equal to 8 ohms. Now we write the Thevenin's equivalent circuit here. RL was given in the question, which is 12 ohms. RTH, which is nothing but the source resistance now, which is equal to 8 ohms, and this is 180 volts. Now, can we say the maximum power is transferred with this circuit? No, because RL is 12 and RS equals 8. So we need to see through that the power when we calculate IL square into RL, where IL is nothing but E naught square divided by RS plus RL the whole square into RL. We need to see through that the power maximum will be obtained when RS is equal to RL. Therefore, you need to tune up RL in such a way that RL becomes 8 ohms. Okay, so you need to reduce RL to 8 ohms. Okay, in the question it was given 12 ohms, but Pmax will not be obtained until and unless RL becomes equal to RS. Until and unless RS and RL are equal. So in that case, I need to reduce this RL which was given in 12 ohms in the question to 8 ohms. Therefore, Pmax would be equal to E naught square divided by 4 times RL, because RS equals RL I made 2RL the whole square, 4RL the whole square, RL I get E naught square by 4RL, which would be equal to 180 square divided by 4 into 8. 8 is RL now. Okay, 4 into 8, because 8 is the RL. So what you get here is 180 square by 4 into 8 would be equal to 1012.5 watts. Okay, therefore P max 1012.5 watts, or I can also say 1.0125 kilowatts. Why? Because kilo is nothing but 10 power 3. Okay. So I hope this problem is clear to you. Okay. This problem is clear to you. I hope how we got 8 ohms as RL, because source is 8 ohms, so you need to reduce that to 8 ohms. Fine. So we'll go to the next problem. Okay, in this problem, what we need to find out is find the values of R and C. So you need to find out the values of R and C such that power delivered to R is maximum, and also calculate the power. Also calculate the power. Now given V of t is given in the question, which is 250 sine 500 t volts. Okay, this is the question. You need to find out what is C and R value such that the V of t is already given. So therefore, see what you can do. So now the first thing is in this problem, so let us begin with the solution. In this problem you see that R and C are in parallel, and that would be the load impedance ZL. So I need to calculate Z. So therefore the reactance of the capacitance, is considered. So what is that here is, I can say ZL equals R and C are in parallel, R parallel with C. So when I consider the reactance of the capacitor, I will get R into minus J into XC. So normally we write minus J some value ohms, right? That is nothing but R into minus J. So minus J XC is the reactance that we consider for the capacitor. Therefore R into minus J XC divided by R minus J into XC. Now why this equation? Because they both are in parallel. They both are in parallel. Therefore this will be equal to minus J times R XC divided by R minus J into XC. R minus J into XC. Right. So now what we will do is, we will try to do rationalization, because you can't convert into polar or rectangular because there is no number here. So I will do rationalization. So rationalization, you know how to do it. I will multiply this with R plus JXC divided by R plus JXC. Okay, you will always rationalize with the complex conjugate of the denominator. So what do I get? Minus J R square into XC. So J square is minus, so minus into minus it becomes plus R into XC square divided by, this is A minus B into A plus B, A square minus B square, whereas J square is minus, so it becomes plus XC square. So this would be equal to, I will separate the imaginary and real term. So XC square by R square plus XC square minus J into R square XC divided by R square plus XC square. So I am just separating these two terms by separating the LCM part also. Now if you take LCM for these two, you will come back with this term only. Okay. Now, so as inductor is given there, which is inductor is given L equals 0.4 Henry. Okay, we know that the reactance of the inductor would be equal to omega into L, which is nothing but the reactance of the inductor would be equal to, what is that? In the question you can see omega is given. See, when I have a term which 250 sine omega t, we normally call this as 250 sine omega t volts. Now omega is given as 500. Therefore, I will say omega into L, which is, so I will normally say this is J into omega into L. So J into 500 into L is 0.4. Okay, 500 into 0.4, which you get 200 times J. So that is what we take in terms of XL, reactance of the inductance. So therefore, I will see that if I consider in the problem, if I consider this term as load, then this term becomes source, ZS. So therefore, what is ZS? ZS is now would be equal to 100 ohm is the resistance given plus 200 J is the, so now this is ZS, whereas this is ZL, which we finally obtained by taking the parallel term. Okay. Now what is that we need to do here? For source and load, both are having impedance. What we did? ZL is equal to complex conjugate of ZS. Right? It means that RL plus J into XL equals RS minus J into XS. Now, if you thoroughly see, RS is given as 100, okay, and XS is given as 200. So RS is 100 ohms, XS is 200 ohms. Then RL is given as RXC square by R square plus XC square. RXC square by R square plus XC square. Whereas XL is given as R square XC by R square XC by R square plus XC square. Now in this problem, what we need to find out is we need to find out the value of C and R. Right? We need to find out what is C, what is R. Now with this equation, can I equate RL equals RS? So we got two conditions, right? One is RL equals RS. The second condition is XL equals minus XS. So therefore, I'll say RL equals this RS. So what will I get? RXC square by R square plus XC square equals 100. I got 100. Then XL equals minus XS. So I will get what? R square XC. So here I am sorry. I am getting XL is minus. So this is minus, right? Therefore XL equals minus R square XC. It is minus R square XC. So minus R square XC divided by R square plus XC square equals, I should say minus XS. So minus 200. So minus minus will get cancelled. Therefore it both becomes plus now. Now this is the two equations, 100 and 200. Now we need to find out what is R and L. So how do we find out here? With these two equations, what can we derive here? That is what we need to see. So I can say 1 over R square plus XC square equals 100 by RXC square. Similarly here 1 over R square XC square, R square plus XC square equals 200 by R square into XC. Now in these two equations, in this equation and in this equation, as left hand side both are equal, I can say this right hand side should also be equal. So for that what do I get? I get 100 by RXC square equals 200 by R square XC. Okay. So therefore R square XC divided by RXC square equals 200 by 100. So I get R gets cancelled, XC gets cancelled. So I'll say R by XC equals 2. Therefore R is equal to 2 times XC. So I got R equals 2 times XC. Fine. So what is my next job? I got R equals 2 times XC. So this R equals 2 times XC, I will substitute in these equations. Okay. So that is RXC square. So RXC square. So therefore I'll say R is 2XC. So 2XC square, 2XC into XC square divided by 2XC square plus XC square equals 100. So I have substituted R in this equation. I have substituted R to be equal to 2XC. So what do I get? So I get 2XC cube divided by 2 to the 4XC square plus XC square. So 5XC square equals 100. Therefore I get xc square and xc cube, so I get 2xc equals 100 into 5. So therefore xc would be equal to 250. xc would be equal to 250 ohms. xc would be equal to 250 ohms. Therefore, if you substitute for this R equals 2 times xc, R will be equal to 2 into 250. Therefore, R is equal to 500 ohms. Now the job is not over because we need not to have xc. We need c. We need c. So c in terms of xc. So therefore, if I write c in terms of xc, we know that xc is equal to 1 over omega times c. This is the formula. Xc is equal to 1 over omega times c. So in the question already we know that omega is given as 500. Earlier we have seen. So c would be equal to 1 over omega into xc. So this would be equal to 1 over 500 into xc is 250. So if you try to solve this 1 over 500 into 250, you will get c to be equal to 8 microfarad. Okay, R is 500 ohms, C equals 8 microfarad. 1 over 500 into 250, you get 8 into 10 power minus 6. Micro is nothing but 10 power minus 6. Okay, 8 into 10 power minus 6, C unit is farad. So I assume that both the problems which we have discussed now in maximum power transfer theorem is clear to you. Okay, we will solve one more last problem on maximum power transfer theorem. So this is the problem which is given. You need to find out what is RL, and you also need to find out Pmax. What is RL and what is Pmax? So in the previous problem was the power values is been asked. Yes, I'm sorry. I think we need to calculate the power also here. I hope the power formula is nothing but P is equal to E naught square by 4 times RL. So E naught square is given. E naught square is 250. So you will take not sine term. You will only take the term which is the magnitude, which is 250. Therefore, 250 square divided by 4 times RL is nothing but the R value which we have found. R value is what? R value which we have found is 500. Therefore, 500 is the value. 4 into 500. So this would be 250 into 250 divided by 4 into 500. So 250 2s are 4 2s are 8. Therefore, 250 by 8. This would be equal to what? Uh, so 225 to 48. So 4 again 125 by 4 would be, P max would be equal to what? P max would be equal to 31.2 watts. For this first problem, I'm sorry, I think for the second problem, there were power was also been asked. So power would be equal to 31.2 watts. I hope you got it. How we found E naught square should be 250, the magnitude which is given here. So voltage value. So we need to take only the peak value, which is peak value is 251. Whereas RL is nothing but the resistance R which is connected in parallel with C. So we have found what is R at the end. So that is nothing but RL. Okay. Okay, now for this problem, what we need to calculate is, we need to find out what is RL and we need to find out what is Pmax. So we'll see the steps now. So here in this problem we need to find out what is VTH and then what is RTH, and then we need to find out the Thevenin's equivalent circuit, and then we'll see how to find out the power Pmax and RL and all. Okay, so to find out VTH, I'll write the new circuit here. So I'll remove this RL. So this is VTH which we need to find out here. 4J ohms, 2 ohms. So normally there will be a direction which is given like this. So this is plus 50 at an angle 0 degree volts, and then this is 2 at an angle 90 degree amps, 4 ohms minus J4 ohms. Now we need to find out what is VTH. Okay. Now to find out VTH, let us take this is A and B. So therefore VTH would be equal to VA minus VB. VA minus VB. So we need to find out what is VA at this voltage at this node. Also we need to find out voltage at this node, which is VB. Okay, now voltage at this node is nothing but voltage across the 4J ohms. VA would be equal to voltage across 4 ohms. For that I need to find out what is the current I in this loop. Once I find out the current I, then VA would be equal to I into 4 ohms. Okay. Now what is I? So let me write the equation now, which is 50 at an angle 0 degree. So KVL is what we need to write here. Minus 2I minus 4J I equals 0. Therefore 50 at an angle 0 degree would be equal to I into 2 plus 4J. Therefore I would be equal to 50 at an angle 0 degree divided by 2 plus 4J. Now if I convert this 2 plus 4J into polar form, so take out your calculator all of you, and then convert that into polar form. So what do we get here is shift polar of 2 comma 4 will be 4.47 at an angle 63.43. So therefore I would be equal to 50 divided by 4.47 will give you 11.185 at an angle 63 becomes minus 63.43 amps. This is the current value. Now VA would be equal to 4j into that I, so 11.185 at an angle minus 63.43 multiplied by 4j. So I will again convert that 4j into polar. So what do I get? So shift polar of 0, 4. I'll get 11.185 at an angle minus 63.43 multiplied by 4 at an angle 90. So this would be equal to, VA would be equal to 11.185 multiplied by 4 will give you 44.74 at an angle minus 63.43 plus 90 will give you 26.57 volts. So this is VA. Okay, that is the value VA which we have got now. Now coming to VB. So what is VB? So here I need to calculate what is VB. So go back to the circuit and see what is VB. So VB would be the total voltage across this and the ground. Okay, we across this and ground. Therefore, here so if you try to see this properly, you will find out the solution. What is that? Current in this loop is what we need to know. To find out VP, current in this loop I equals 0. Right? I equals 0. Now before that, I'll just convert that parallel to series. So I'll get, this is VB. I'll have a resistance. This is my voltage source, inductance, and this is where ground is connected, and this is my VB, and this is 4 ohms. This is 4 to the 8 at an angle 90 degree, and this is minus 4j ohms. And this is another part of the circuit where VA is there and 4j ohm is connected. Now if you properly see, I is 0. When I is 0, because as this is open, I equals 0, voltage drop across 4 ohm equals 0, voltage drop across minus 4j is also 0. There is no voltage drop across 4 ohm and minus 4j ohm. Therefore, I can easily say that VB is actually equal to 8 at an angle 90 degree. 8 at an angle 90 degree. Right? 8 at an angle 90 degree. Is it correct? As we don't have any voltage drop across the 4 ohm and minus 4j ohm due to the current equals 0, I will be ending up in getting VB to be equal to 8 at an angle 90 degree. Anyway, why it is 8 at an angle? Why it is plus 8 at an angle 90 degree? See, this is minus. Whereas this is minus is connected to this, plus is connected to ground. So this becomes minus. Whereas VB itself is negative. Therefore, negative of the value of negative. Therefore, it becomes positive. Okay. So we got VA and VB. Our job is, what is VTH? So VTH would be equal to VA minus VB. So we got VA to be equal to 44.74 at an angle 26.57. So we got 44.74 at an angle 26.57 minus 8 at an angle 90 degree. So this is my VTH. So Now you can't subtract the polar terms. Therefore, what I should do is I should convert this polar to rectangular again. So rectangular of 44.74 comma 26.57. I will be getting 40.01 plus 20.01j minus 8 at an angle 90 degree in polar. So shift rectangle of 8 comma 90. So I get 8j minus 8j. So therefore VTH would be equal to 40.01 20.01 minus 8. I will get 12 point plus 12.01j. So if I write this rectangular to polar again, I get VTH to be equal to shift polar of 40.01 comma 12.01. I'll get 41.773 at an angle 16.70 volts. Okay, so that is what VTH we have got. Now my job is to find out what is RTH. So to find out RTH, we need to short voltage source and we need to open our current source. So I'll be getting this resistance, short the voltage source in the given network, and then I have an inductance. Then I will remove the load here. Then I have a resistance. I have a current source which is made open now. I have again J4. So here this is 2 ohms. So this is short because of voltage source were there. Then here J4 ohms. Then I have 4 ohms. Then I have minus J4 ohms. So therefore this is A and B. I need to find out what is RTH here. Okay, so therefore if I write this in a different way, the circuit can be written as this is A, this is resistance, inductance J4, and then I have this is connected to a capacitor, and that capacitor is in series with 4 ohms, and this is B. Okay, so therefore this is 4 ohms minus 4j J4 ohms, this is J4 ohms, this is 2 ohms. Therefore RAB, sorry, this is impedance. ZAB would be equal to 2 parallel with J4, that in turn in series with minus J4 plus 4. So it is 2 into J4 divided by 2 plus J4 minus 4J plus 4. If you solve this, finally you will end up in getting ZAB to be equal to 6.45 at an angle minus 29.74 ohms. Fine, so we got VTH and ZAB. Our job is now to write the Thevenin's equivalent circuit. VTH, ZAB, and then we have RL, because resistance is the load is purely resistive, which is given in the question. Therefore, this is VTH, which is 41.773 at an angle 16.70 degree volts. Then this is ZS or ZTH or ZAB, whatever it is, 6.45 at an angle minus 29.74, and this is my RL. So the question is, what is RL and what is Pmax? So here we have a condition where the load is resistive and this is impedance. So therefore RL would be equal to the magnitude of the source, magnitude of the source, which is nothing but Thevenin's equivalent resistance. So it is magnitude of the ZTH or ZS or whatever you can say. Thevenin's equivalence. So the impedance itself is ZAB, and that is nothing but the source resistance here. Now what is the magnitude? So first we need to find out what is ZTH equals. ZTH equals 6.45 at an angle minus 29.74, right? The magnitude value of this ZTH would be nothing but 6.45. Therefore RL is 6.45 ohms. Now for this we need to find out what is IL first, because power is maximum can be calculated by IL square into RL. So if you do that calculation, IL would be equal to what? Total voltage E0 divided by root of, square root of RS plus RL the whole square plus XS square. This is what we got, right? So this would be equal to E0 is 41.773 at an angle 16.70 divided by square root of, so what is R, S and XS? So this you convert this into the rectangular form, shift rectangular of 6.45 comma minus 29.74 is nothing but 5.6 minus 3.199 J. This is what you got. So therefore this is square root of RS is 5.6 plus RL is magnitude, which is nothing but 6.45 whole square plus minus 3.9199 whole square minus 3.199 whole square, because that is XC. So this is RS, this is XS, which is minus of this. So this would be equal to, so solve the denominator, what you get? So it is 5.6 plus 6.45 is 12.45. Square of this is 145.205. That would be added with, so minus square minus 3.199 square equals, so you get 155.43 and square root of that, which is 12 point, so in the denominator you get 12.467 and in the numerator you get 41 point, so this is 16.1. So therefore IL will be equal to 41.773 divided by 12.467. You get 3.350 at an angle 16.70 amps. So this is what you get. Now power P equals IL square into RL. So I'll take only the magnitude part of IL, which is nothing but 3.350 the whole square into RL was 6.45. So this would be equal to into 6.45, 72.414 watts. P max is 72.414 max. Okay, so I think the complete problem, what I did for you, all the three problems, which is quite lengthy and it's quite the calculative. So I hope you are clear with this, all these three problems, and this covers the maximum power transfer theorem related problems. Right. So in my next video, I'll be recording Millman's theorem. Okay, Millman's theorem, and we'll see some problems related to Millman's theorem. Thank you.